Hello, everybody. I'm Ed Parcaut here with Brian Galke. And why am I talking on this side of the screen? I have no idea. Usually you're supposed to be on the other side. Hosts are on the other side.
Anyway, that's right.
Yeah. All right. So we're last one of the year. We'll be back first week in January or second week in January?
Yes. Second week. It doesn't matter. I'm around either week. I don't plan on being anywhere. I say that now.
You say that now. We'll figure it out. We'll surprise you. How about that? Yeah. All right. You said you wanted to kind of do a roundup of the year of what's helped us. I can't believe we've all been doing this for a year.
I know.
We started in January. I was like, one of these days we'll upload these as podcasts. I just got off another podcast, and I don't want to brag because, like you do, I just got done speaking at multiple stages.
This week I just got up out of bed.
Anyway, and it was a guy who does support people's podcasts, and his question was, with all the shows I do, how big's your team? How big's all that? And I'm like, you don't understand. It's like I do it all right now. I'm going to hand it off to a VA in January, but I do it right now. They're like, how do you do all that? It's like, well, instead of watching TV, I mess around with some stuff occasionally. You know what I mean? It's like,
well, it's a combination, right? It's tools that help you get better faster.
Yeah, very much so. And how to get it done quicker.
Right.
So I explained to them, they hadn't even heard of Castmagic, and that's getcastmagic.com, by the way. And they never heard of Opuspro, and that's getopuspro, by the way.com. Now, by the way, take the by the way out of it. Just get Opuspro.
Just get Opuspro.
Yeah, try opusclips.com. And those two things have drastically, Castmagic alone has allowed me to do so much more, because I can do, he's like, how do you do 5 days a week? How long does it take you to finish the show? And I think I talked to you about this before we start. And how do you put music in it? Okay, well, my radio show producer, so of course that has music in it and all the nice stuff for the podcast, but so does Helping the Brave. But the daily, no, it's a quick, hey, this is what we talked about. It's up, it's done. It's not about, okay, let's put the beautiful music opener and whatever. No, this is just a daily. We're talking about this.
Right.
Yeah.
And
maybe I should, but I'm not doing it now. Huh?
Yeah, I think the less frequent, the more fancy is just how most things go. If you're only going to do it every once in a while, go have a professional intro, outro, music, all that kind of stuff. If you're doing it as often as you do, you just can't keep up with it all.
Yeah. My inner Edison, I cut an opener and I cut a close, and it's the same close and the same opener each week. But it was, the new one was, I came about how I was telling him, be consistent, drop when you say you're going to drop. If you say you're 5 days a week, you're 5 days a week, unless you put something out there. If you're twice a week, put something out there. I said, but because I stopped my inner Edison for about 6 months, and my, listeners went elsewhere. Right. Now they're coming back, but and I'm getting new ones, but they were like, he left. It's gone.
Yeah.
So just be careful.
It's like if a TV show goes off from one to another. So, just modern technology. I was watching a show I used to watch on Hulu, jumped over to another one. Well, had I not found it on another platform, I would have just picked a new show to watch. And I think that's what happens is once you train your audience of how often are you going to be around, they come to expect it. And if you don't show up for a while, then they move on.
Well, it's like, what about the new shows, right? We got so spoiled with Netflix. Watch all freaking episodes, new show out, all episodes out. And then what does Netflix now do? Oh, here's 3 of them, and you'll get the rest of them a little bit later down the road. And then you have like the new Reacher show, right? They did 3 episodes, and then they're going 1 a week.
Watched all 3. What day did I get home? Sunday night. I watched all 3.
But if they had all 8, we would have watched all 8, because that's just 100%. What we do.
I have done more laying around watching TV in the last 3 or 4 days, and I haven't quite a while.
But what I'm getting is, if they stop posting it, you're going, where the hell to go? Where to go? How come they're not posting it? Why are they not posting it? They don't like me, And have you seen Slough Houses? Looks like slow horses on iTunes, on Apple.
I've seen the first couple episodes. It just didn't jive with me.
You got to watch after that, man. It's just it's a British, Slough House is the lower side of MI5.
Oh, see, I really thought it was slow horses.
No, Slough House is what they say. Slough House.
Did not know that.
Those damn, British people, how they pretty.
Yeah, it's like hanging out with Steve.
Yeah. I'm just saying I thought it was slow horses too, but they call it Slough House. I don't know. I
I
don't
didn't
know.
pay
What
that
are you
much
going to do?
attention.
Yeah.
It is, this is my ADD kicking a little bit. I was watching something the other day and they were saying Nuremberg, but they did it not the way we're used to spelling it, right? And it's like, crap, why is it that when we're learning all these different countries, it's not the same spelling as when you actually get there? You know what I
Because
mean?
it's not an English pronunciation of
Right.
it.
I guess. What was I watching where they're in Nuremberg? I don't remember.
Not the new bomb one.
The new what?
Oppenheimer.
No, I haven't watched that one yet.
I haven't either. Just 3 hours. I can't give it after the first Avatar. I can't.
Yeah.
I don't. Yeah,
No. But anyway, so back to one of the things we've been talking about quite a bit: consistency. That's what I think you're saying is, if you say you're going to do it, you have to remain consistent and do it. Now, with modern technology, you can record it on different days. You can set it to go live. You know, a lot of people batch them and do an entire, couple months worth of podcasts. So they'll rent out a podcast studio and they'll have multiple guests come in, record a bunch of episodes, and then they'll drop them later on, just like you can do. So it's just, there's tools now where you don't have to go to a physical location at a physical time in order to make it happen. So if you have to adjust.
Yeah. I was on another podcast. I've been on so many lately, and she was batching them that day. And she's like, oh, you're my like 13th. How the fuck are you doing 13 in one day? Start early and late. And I'm like, wow. And for me, I mean, I'm already have them 4 weeks out, all ready to go. Right. That's how you do it. It's like, you edit it, you put it up, and then you put it ready to go. Automatically goes, drops. You have to add a couple things to your website. You're done. And that's how it should be. I mean, all my social media is out 60 days to almost 90 days.
That's exactly where I was going to go to next is, you said you started using a lot more of the scheduling stuff. I'm still trying to do the organic once a day, get in, go do something on Opuspro, pull it off, post it to TikTok, then Instagram, then LinkedIn.
You can do that through Go High Level.
I know. But everybody keeps saying that if you get pushed down farther if you don't use the native app.
So who says?
One of even
one trying not to sell that stuff.
No, the joker we were going to get, who's going to come on after the new year, that was where she corrected me, because I even at one of the events we're at, I said, one lady said, I'm tired of posting on Facebook and Instagram. I said, well, I just post it to Instagram and push it to Facebook. And I said, because I like that.
That's wrong. That's
what she said was no, don't.
That is wrong. I didn't say do that. I said get a scheduler. Go High Level doesn't have the same problem.
So, well, what would be, do you think, the difference of if you're pushing it from Instagram to Facebook versus pushing it to a third party? I would think since Instagram is owned by Facebook, they would want you to use those two, and there would be no difference.
Nope. It's different. There is a difference. It just doesn't work right. And that's like using, Facebook's and Meta's internal scheduler. I've never got that to work right.
That's what you were saying, particularly with Reels, right?
Yeah. Well, and the High Level, I can't get it to do Reels on Facebook. So they all have issues.
Yeah.
Right. But I'm so much more consistently posting, not my videos, but the other stuff I'm doing. And I have so many videos to go post. And so over Christmas, that's what I'm going to do is set up all that, because I have so many videos and I was on the last thing, the guy goes, well, how come, are your stuff evergreen? I'm like, no, it's about today.
Yeah.
Well, shouldn't you do more? That's not Real Estate Jerky Daily. That's just not what it is.
Yours is such an industry specific. You have to be up to date with the current trends or topics or changes. You can't do that. Right. And I know that, people say, oh, don't do anything with a Christmas tree in the background. Don't do this. Don't do that. I get it. We all reuse content to a degree, but not with what you're particularly talking about.
Right. I mean, the evergreen stuff is Aces53. It's about sales and everything else we're talking about. But we could, a year from now, Opuspro or Clips, it could be gone. It could be renamed TikTok Clips or something. You never know what the new thing's going to be.
You beat me to the punch. Hootsuite, when I first started even dabbling in this in 2017, I thought, I'm going to start posting on social media more. And at the time, the only thing out there that did scheduling was Hootsuite. And now you see them begging for business because smaller companies are coming up. And you and I talked about this on another episode. It's okay to be first to market, but if you're not adapting your product after that or your pricing, you're going to be left in the weeds, and having worked from a large company, they want to stick with, well, this is what works for a large company. People are chasing the new and the nimble over the big people in the industry now. And so, you know, I get ads all the time from Hootsuite going like, hey, we still have a product. And it's like, yeah, and yeah. So,
well, I don't know if this is an example, but I had, so when I did my continuing education for my real estate side, because I had to have my broker's license for the mortgage stuff. It was in 2020, and the DRE reached out and says, we need this certificate. And of course it's over 3 years, so I don't have it. And so I had to try to find the company that I did it through.
Right.
I mean, and it's not, because I usually go through the same ones over and over again, but this time I come to find out it was a totally different company. And what I had to do is go through the website of DRE and the people on there and go, and, you know, is it me? Oh, and then I finally found it after 2 days of searching. And then I call them and they're like, oh, that was in 2020. And we don't have that certificate. We see it here, but you downloaded it back then, right? Okay. But I said, well, and so they were telling me I couldn't get it. I'm saying, well, according to the Department of Real Estate, I don't know why I'm on the subject, but it's about technology and not staying on it, right?
Right.
And I said, according to the Department of Real Estate, you have to keep it for 5 years and be able to re-give it to me according to section blah, 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 blah. Okay, let me call my manager. I'll get back to you. And they called me like 15 minutes later. No, they called me back. Okay, I emailed it to you. Okay, thanks. Yeah. But I'm just saying, those companies, and you can tell that they're not that busy because it's not that, you know, people doing their education or whatever. It's not something, there's got to be there's better ways of doing it. And I found them on other ones. I was like, how did I get to this company to do this education back in 2020?
Right.
So I probably had somebody else do it.
What's that?
I said, I probably had somebody else do it.
Well, you know,
I'm just kidding. I would never do that.
No. All right. So Opus Clips, you mentioned earlier, Castmagic. What was it? So the first one was
Get Opuspro.
I thought it was Try Opuspro.
It's that one. It's Get Opus. No, it's Try Opus Clips, and I'm Get Opuspro.
Try. Okay, say it again. What is it?
Just use that one. Just use that one.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then what was your
Castmagic is getcastmagic.com.
I'll put that one in here in a second. I need to be better about that. Our friend Martha would be mad at me for not using it. So Opus Clips, for the people who, if you've watched this at all, we talk pretty much about Opus the majority of the time. You can upload anything above a minute. It will send it back to you. Actually, here's a cheat. If you have a bunch of stuff under a minute, it will do it for you and doesn't charge you for it. It says, hey, here's a free credit for doing it. So I uploaded something that was 45 seconds. Yeah. And said, this is less duration than a minute. We do it for free.
Wow. That's for a video?
Yep, for a video. So somebody did a video from a phone. Well, actually, you know, Joe did a video from the phone.
No, I know Toe.
Yeah. He knows Ted. And it was 45 seconds long. So it said, okay, you get a free credit. It's called the credit saver or something like that. So we've got that. And what it does is it'll take your video and you have all kinds of options with it. So you can say, I want 30, 60, 90 seconds or set it to auto. You can choose, does it want, for example, if we're doing a video of this particular one, we could say, do split screen, make it look like the Brady's, have Ed above, me down below, have them, the people side to side, like kind of like you are here. You can change do you want it to be a horizontal or vertical video? You can add in B-rolls, but the best part is the captioning on it is pretty damn slick, and so is the titling that it does for your videos. Before, I'd always get stuck on how to write a hook in a title. And with it doing it for me, I just make minor changes to it. And whereas I used to get maybe 30, I'll get anywhere from 300 to 5,000. And I'm not posting anything different than what I've been posting. It's just the titles and then selecting where do I want the video to start.
Yeah. When I was explaining that to the last person I was talking to, and they're like, oh, they put the titles, they come with titles. I go, yeah, they come up with stuff that's like grabby. That's why I went viral on one of mine. You know, other ones have done well, but not as well as that one.
Right. Now, I don't use this one as much, so I'll let you steal the stage here. So you're Get Castmagic. So explain to everybody what
Castmagic all the time. Well, here, the easiest way, this is what I did on my last one. I was like, it's easier if I just pull it up so I can tell you what it does. Of course, I got to sign back in. Error, Will Robinson. All right, so what it allows you to do is it transcribes it. So it asks you to who's speaking at each point, and you put those people in. And then you click on the AI and it gives you the title. It gives you keywords, introduction, time-stamped overview of everything, questions that are in there, topics and bullets. It gives you also clip finder, quotes, hooks, and timestamps. So you then now you can go in and just edit your, if you have StreamYard, go in there and go, like, I want it from 4 minutes and 42 seconds to 4 minutes and 46 seconds, or whatever the time period is, right?
Yeah.
It goes longer than that. That was just an example. Reel script. So for your reels, LinkedIn posts, newsletter, tweet thread, threads by Instagram, TikTok. These are all posts that you can do. Use the information that's already there. You got the emojis, got everything for you. Hashtags, meta description, summary so I wanted it to do a summary for my WordPress website. So it does that. Executive summary. It does that. SEO, website podcast page. It does that. YouTube description. And then one of the things I did differently is sometimes I did a pre-show description, which means it didn't happen yet.
Gotcha.
And it's like, the host will bring you the latest insights of real. So it makes it like it didn't happen, and it writes it that way. Wow. So if you wanted to do a live that you already recorded, you could take that, and it explains it very well.
Very cool.
And then what's not also nice about it, looks like even now it puts it down here at the bottom, and I don't know why. I haven't messed with that at all, but I wonder if you can edit it now too. Anyway, but the other thing that's nice is if that doesn't work for you, right, any of those, you go over to the next button called Magic Chat, and you tell it what you want.
Nice.
Yeah. So it does everything.
The big difference between the top two, we're talking about Opus, and then this is Opus does your videos, your captions, your B-roll. This is more for just auditory, right?
This is how to put, when you put your podcast up, all the little boxes you need to fill in that you would have to think about. What are my keywords? What's my introduction? What's my hashtags? What do I need to come up with? Which we used to use Chat GPT for. Right. That's how we first started. And I did that. I was like, I came up, this is easy. Boom, boom. And then this came and I'm like, this is more expensive. But if you get this and you're using it a lot, just tell me you want to cancel and they'll drop the cost. And they're also, if you prepay, they give you 5 months for free next year.
Wow. That's nice.
I just saw that the other day.
All right.
So anyway, those are the two I use all the time.
Yeah. It can even, you mentioned Chat GPT, so let's go ahead and go down that rabbit hole. I don't know why.
Well, you've been drinking already this time?
I might have a hot toddy in here, I won't lie, but for some reason I was combining rabbit into rat. So with Chat GPT, that's where we used to go in and go, okay, here's what I want to write about. You mentioned before, and wanting hashtags, but it has evolved so much more than when we first started talking about it. So a year ago, we stumbled upon it. At that time, you could only go 2021, and in the future, you couldn't go back
the other way. No,
was it
the other? It was back. You go and go back. You couldn't. So it was 2021 up to 2021, and you couldn't do current stuff.
That's right. Okay, and then it became where you could pay Chat GPT 4, which then would go look at live websites, other things. Because before then, you'd have to use Chrome extensions, things of that nature. But it really has evolved. So now you can use it to write your content, write your SEO. A great thing that's made brought up the other day is use it to ask you questions to help you develop your perfect avatar. And I need to send you the notes for that. Please. There's a really cool ideas. If you're trying to figure out, well, who is it? You say, here's my website. This is what I do. What questions do I need to ask myself to find my ideal avatar?
Or what is my ideal avatar? I would do that.
Yes,
Tell me what my ideal avatar would be. Well, that was like, I was asked today, my radio show, my perfect, I was like, avatar, those damn new words that people are using.
Those young
was a first-time home buyer, and the guy was like, so you can do stuff for everybody else, but you only focus on that one person out on the radio show. I go, yes. Everybody else will come. The other people will come because of what I do, but I need to focus on that one person.
Well, what they say, you got to pay your bills with your primary customer, and then you can expand beyond that. But you have to know who is the main person I'm chasing the most.
Sorry, I had a yawn there. Did I get you?
That's okay. I keep muting to cough, so we're good.
The other thing I use is Podcastle.
And what's that one?
That is what I use to edit my my Inner Edison podcast.
Is that it? Podcastle?
The voice, the edit when I download the audio. Yeah, so that's the one I do. I bridge an opener and a close onto there, and then I save it and put it in. And you can adjust the sound, and it has AI even to do that for you now. Magic it, and then most of it I don't do it because I have the board, I have everything turned off on the board, so it just records my voice the way it's supposed to be, and the other people, there's no added adjustments.
Now, we've been talking a lot about, how do we use this for social media, how we use it for podcasts, but going back to Chat GPT, didn't you have it write out an entire 1 or 2 day training course?
Yeah, for us, for Aces53. Yes,
right.
We have our whole coaching program put together. We just haven't, and our course and everything, it's already wrote out. I had sat there one day and had it, and I should probably go back in. Plus, I had it help me write 3 different books of getting past no.
Which, for the people who have not heard you talk about before, how do you spell it?
KNOW. Because the biggest thing in sales was they just don't buy because they just don't know. And I did that horrible talk, but it was a decent, somewhat decent, whatever. And basically it's knowledge needed to overcome waiting was what I came up with. So
right.
And I was like, oh, I wonder if you can help me. All right, let's expand this chapter. And it was in the early days compared to the way people do it now, So, yeah. And so I was just surprised it allowed, so you can do so much with it.
Right.
And now they can go grab new stuff. It actually helped me even price out what our prices should be for our coaching and everything else. Because it went out and searched back then what other people were doing.
Right. Well, that's what we'd have to do historically is if you found something you liked, then you had whoever's coding your website, creating your sizzle reel, whatever it is, say, go look at this person's, make me something like that. Now you can do it automatically.
Right.
Because
I had to redo all my verbiage on my website.
That's what you were saying. I
just told him to make it better.
I use Chat GPT. I'm not in love with the layout and the way it looks, but so that's another one I need to go back in, and I need to update photos and videos because everything I have is from early.
What did you say about Chat GPT? What did it have to do with your you're not happy with?
No, I said I used Chat GPT as well. It gave me the wording, but when I went and put it on the website, the way the layout looked wasn't ideal. I need to go back and play with it some more.
Well, tell it to compact it.
That's a good point.
That's what I do because it's very wordy.
Yeah,
it's fucking wordy. I helped it write my emails for Rotary. Right. I have to do an email each week for the members and everything. And my first ones were like, hey, well, and then I'm like, compact this. And it's like 1, 2, 3, 4 sentences. Every paragraph was done in 1 sentence. Nice. And there was like, that's from Ed.
Yeah.
And then I highlight just the names. So if you just want to scan, you can see it and you're done. My recent one this last week was a little bit longer because it needed to be, because it's the last one of the year. So 6 more months. 6 more months.
Yeah, that's what I say. You're in the final countdown.
Yeah. I almost start singing that.
Another one I use is CapCut.
I was going to say cats. You like to kill cats?
We were talking about Castmagic. CapCut is I'll go get that done through Opus clips. Sometimes the B-roll pictures it wants aren't what I want it to be, or the video is too long. I want to cut it out because it does a weird transition occasionally. So I'll go and download those videos into CapCut. That allows me to edit the videos itself. If there was an improvement for Opus that I really wish they do, was let you cut out segments of it. You can adjust your captions, but you can't touch the video at all. So then I'll pull it into CapCut and make the video longer, shorter, add in a trailer, add in the B-roll photos when I want them there versus the ones that AI thought I wanted there. So it's not used as much, but I still use it a little bit from time to time.
Yeah, I overall I'm happy. I just wish they put a B-roll in the beginning on some of them,
Right.
And the nice thing is you can go in there and edit it now. What picture you want.
Right.
And for I think it's $4 a month, you get like multiple pictures difference from Shutterstock or whatever. Instead of their free ones.
Oh, I didn't know that. So that's another one I'll have to add as a tip here in a second.
Because so I like, oh yeah, I want to buy it. I'll do that for whatever buck. And unfortunately, I should have like redid the first one again because I didn't, and it still said Shutterstock across it.
That could be a problem.
Yeah, well, why? It's their watermark. I don't care. It's not like it's going viral.
One of the other things while we're talking about photos that I use, Deposit Photo. If you wait And
I'm stuck there.
You're frozen. That was an awkward one to freeze at.
I
If
think
you
my
want to
camera,
use,
I'll be right back. I gotta check my
sure.
camera.
If you want to use licensed photos that you can use for up to 50,000 reproductions, then depositphotos.com. Is it Deposit Photos? I think. Let me double check. I'm spelling it right. Or is it Deposit Photo? Yeah, photos.com. All right, I spelled it right. Now, on that one, there's just millions of pictures that you can go and download. So you can type in, obviously, since I talked about facial features, then it's, well, let's talk about, I'm going to take Ed out here. Let me see if I can remove. There we go. Until he's back. But what you can do is go and type in anything you want. Since I talk about faces, I'll go and type in eyebrows, nose, lips, chin, whatever it may be. And it gives me photos. And I can choose, do I want a drawing of it? Do I want a picture of someone's face? Am I looking for a vector that I can adjust? And is it want to be all kinds of information you can choose from it? So that's a great one. Now, here's a tip. Wait till it's on sale at AppSumo. I think you can get 100 pictures for $30. So when it comes up on AppSumo, you can buy up to 4 or 5 at a time. And I always buy at least 400 worth of photos. So that's because I use all those photos as B-roll in my short clips. So I know at least 600 of them already because I keep them on my phone as well. So it's just how you can go in and add B-stock photos to the videos that you're doing. Or, if you do screenshots, things like that. But I'm a huge fan of deposit photos. Another thing that I do, I got this one from a guy named Ryan Stuman. That is, whenever I'm going to write any content out with my post, I use Apple Notes. Some people are fans of Evernote. And then recently at an event last week in San Diego, someone mentioned the Notion app because it's much better how you can organize information. But anytime that I get the title from Opus Clips for a clip, then I go and I start writing the information down. Pardon me. Sorry about that. Once I get the title, then I go and write the information that's beyond it. So I usually try and put in several paragraphs. You want to add in double spaces between things, space between lines. Why do you want to do that? Because on social media, if anybody's reading the content that you're posting and where it says click here to see more or 3 dots, you get extra credit in the algorithms for people expanding what you wrote out. And so then I'll always have the notes here in Apple Notes, like you mentioned, as I have. So if I ever want to repost a video, I know what the video is about. I go find the note that I had and I can repost content over and over again.
Sorry about that. Too many videos.
Let me ramble on for a minute.
Well, it worked for me.
Yeah. All right. What we talked about was deposit photos and then notes, like some way to capture your notes. Why rewrite?
Just because I wasn't in the room doesn't mean I didn't know what you're talking about.
Sure.
I can hear you.
What other tips or anything would you say helped you out this year?
Engaging with haters.
Oh, yes.
I would say you talked about that the other day. I don't know what you talked about it on. Yeah, you need to engage.
Haters are helpers is the way I reframed it.
Yeah. And just because they're there and they're saying stuff, just engage with them a little bit. And then people will come help save you also and state that, oh, no, it's true. I've done it or this or that. And don't ignore them because the other people are not going to engage as much as somebody who doesn't like you or doesn't think that it should happen. And they're just meanies.
Well, and even this is an interesting topic. Everybody's been getting hit up with the Facebook Messenger messages saying, oh, your account has been flagged for review.
Yeah.
The problem is if you have a business account and you don't acknowledge or delete that talk, Facebook will send you a thing that says someone is still waiting on a reply from you, which means they're looking that if you have your page set up as a business page and somebody sends you a DM and you don't respond in what they think is an appropriate amount of time to either read it, review it, delete it, they're going to ding you for that. So make sure you're addressing those that you know are scams. Just to either go and delete it or respond back. I like to respond back with, oh no, what do I do? How do I fix this? I don't want my page shut down. And they never respond.
I just untag myself.
Well, this one's just a DM that they've been sending directly to me.
But they send it to a bunch of people. I'm just saying you check them and check the box and see what it says, whether you want to delete it, you want to, just different things you can do. And don't worry about it. I mean, I would just go back in and see which is the best way to do it and get rid of them. And I didn't want you back on stage. Unmute. You're muted.
Okay, I'm back. Sorry, I was coughing. I had to get more water.
Yeah, I heard you. I could hear you all the way through that mute.
Yep.
Yeah, I mean, so whatever you have to deal with that. And I was like, I wanted to like send it to tell them and that it's not harassment, but whatever. And I'm like, okay, I want this. And it was like, okay, what kind of harassment was it? Was it this? I'm like, that's not what it is harassment, but not the way you're talking about it.
It's a spam trap. That's the whole thing. I do find it funny that now it's, you're going to get a DM through Facebook. The new one is random California numbers. Hey, what do we have in common? What do you want to talk about? I just respond back and say, my mommy told me not to talk to strangers. See where they go from there.
I have so many people reaching out on LinkedIn now because I've been posting so much more than I used to do. Plus, I updated my information on there. I hired somebody to help me with my resume because you never know what was going to happen. And they're like, okay, this is how you put it on LinkedIn now and clean it up. I was like, okay, and it looks white, night and day different. And I've been getting a lot more people, reaching out.
Good. Any other things you can think of?
Because my resume was so old because I don't need, and now I have a nice one because when I do packages for different banks, you want a real resume. Now I have a really good resume to send with it, so it looks like I'm important.
Good.
Yeah. What else? I don't know.
That's all the main ones. I mean, one thing that it's not an app, it's just something we talked about in the very first beginning of starting this podcast, and that is write out your scripts so that you have consistency in what you're doing. Then once you have them memorized, then you can, not flip the script. God, that sounded so bad. You can basically go off script and kind of talk and personalize it for yourself. And you and I talked about this on Tuesday when we were first learning to speak on stages. People will tell you memorize your first 90 seconds, then memorize different parts of your speech like they were songs. And so when we got started speaking of haters, people came on and told you on your page, anybody who uses scripts is an amateur. No, not at all. No, anybody who has to read only the script is an amateur. Everyone has bullet points. Everyone has some type of script for consistency. So if you ever grow beyond yourself, somebody else can pick it up and do the exact same thing that you did.
Right. But back to, you have to understand what message you want to get across. You then do it multiple times, memorize it, whatever you want to call it, but then you make it yours. I was talking about the other day that, we all have scripts, but we just don't remember them. We're so used to saying it. We just say it. It's automatic. It's been built in. And that's what you need to do. And the one person who said that early on was, they have no idea what they're talking about.
Exactly.
Everybody uses scripts. Now, what we don't do is, hi, I'm so-and-so from Flagstar Bank, or, what I mean? We don't.
The beginning of, I am a wilderness white,
that we don't do that. And that's what they think. They think that's not what it is. When someone calls you and they're reading from a script, that's not the same thing that we're talking about.
Exactly.
All right.
So,
all right. Well, I think that's it for
those are the big ones. I look forward to seeing what new tools we stumble across. I do think a tool that we talk about all the time, but it's so much more than a tool. Obviously, I haven't done it. Go high level. Yes, I am a tool.
You're the tool.
Shut up.
I use it all the time. I'm using it all the time. I'm using it constantly. And it was this insurance. So a guy in my Rotary has an insurance company called Top Flight Insurance. And one of their people called me and I called him back. And it was like, so I was talking to him. I'm like, you guys use high level, huh? They go, yeah. Because the first thing when you call, it says, we're recording this for blah, blah, blah.
Right.
And so that way they can record it and keep the stuff in there. Now I get it how they're using it. They're using it for anybody who calls in. That way one system has every conversation and everybody who is moving down the stream.
Uh-oh.
That's you.
Well, it still should be. Well,
now you're back.
Okay. One of us is going.
All right. Well, let's call it a day.
That sounds like a plan.
All right. Thanks for being here. And thanks for fighting through that tiredness and sickness for us.
Yeah. Well, everybody have a Merry Christmas, Happy New Year, and we'll see everyone in 2024.
Yes, we will. All right. Make it a great